Okay guys, open G guitar. So open G it's a fun one to play with the slide. And if you're new to this slide technique, it can be a little bit frustrating at first. I would say this one is more like we'll make a beginning to an intermediate, but it's a different animal. So, you know, as far as tuning goes, your normal guitar is E, A, D, G, B, and E. This one we are just going to tune to a G triad. So it's going to be tuned to a G triad. The notes G, B, and D are all you're going to have on your 6 strings. And in order to do that, we have to take the E, and this is more of a slack tuning. There's a lot of different open tunings, but the open G is a slack tuning, meaning that a lot of times you're tuned down rather than up. So on your E, what you'd have on your normal tuning, you're going to tune down to a D. So it's a D now instead of an E. In regards to that G triad, it's going to be the G, A, B, C, D, the 5th. Okay? So your E is now a D. So you'd tune down from your E to your D. Use a tuner, whatever tuner you have. Your second one normally would be an A, but we're going to tune down to a G. Okay? The 1. So as far as our tuning goes, we have a D, a G. And the interesting thing is, these next 3 strings, your D, D, G, and B just stay the same because they naturally fall in that G triad. D, G, B, D, G, B. The last one is going to be like the first one. So that's going to be tuned to a D. So now we have D, G, D, G, B, and D. D, G, D, G, B, D. Which G triad is G, B, and D. So it's all those notes now. So in that case, now when we strum it open, we have a G triad. And what works here at the 12th fret, obviously. So anything we can do open, we can do here. And all I've done on the backing track there is I did like a G version of Boogie Chillin'. So it's strike that G, and then the 2 middle ones. And you can sometimes do those 3 if you want, but it's a rhythmic thing. So you're going to add that little, and that's going to go from the 3rd to the 4th fret. So get that rhythm. And I just kind of stay there. Just stay with that for now. And with that, you're going to play your G licks with your slide. And of course, with your slide, you're going to fret your note. You normally fret the note. This D note. But with a slide, you're going to slide to the end of the fret. So if you're here, you want your slide to be here. And a very important thing with slide guitar, like I said, it can be frustrating, but make sure that you have your action raised up high. Now I chose this SG Junior to be my dedicated slide guitar. So in that case, I had to take the bridge and I had to bring it up. So you have to bring it up fairly high, not too high, but high enough to where you're not going to bottom out with your slide when you play. And another thing as far as playing is, You can get a cleaner tone if you play without the pick and just your fingers. Because you do have to use the back, like the meaty part, to dampen. So I, however, like to use a pick. It's a little more of an aggressive sound. And plus, again, you can use these 3 strings to play your normal scale patterns that you would, or your licks. And for that, I'm kind of using the G major pentatonic. And you can play your blues patterns too. You sometimes get that whack. You have to try to be careful. It's different nuances. It's a different technique when you're using a slide. Another concern is I use it on my pinky. And some people use it here. Some people use it here. It's all preference. But I like to use it on my pinky because that frees up my other fingers to play. And you can play the blues scale here. Because again, you have these 3 strings that are the same as they are in standard tuning. Some people also use capos to change. Keith did that quite a bit. Change the pitch. So G, a capo here would be A, capo here would be B, C, D. Experiment with a capo too. You know, once you get pretty good with your slide in open G, then you can start to capo it. But very, very cool sounds, very bluesy sounds that you get with the open G tuning. I really like it. In the songs we do in my band, I use it for the 2 or 3 that we do. Again, like I said, this is a dedicated guitar that just stays in open G. For me, it's easier that way than to try to tune some standard guitar on the fly. You really don't want to do that. But again, mess with it. It changes dynamics a little bit on everything except these strings, because they stay, like I said, they stay the same. But open, 12th fret. You have long slides. You can have short slides. You can use vibrato with your tremolo, or with your slide vibrato. So once you get here, like I said, long, short slides. And also another thing to remember when you're improvising, if you don't want to just stay in G, we can work the 1-4-5 in G, which is G, C, and D. And if you want to do it, the simplest way to do it is you're open here. If you want to go to your 4 or your C, you come up here, and just think of it this way. Remember your C chord here. Well, you don't have this one anymore. So just remember, this is your C, taking out this note. C. And again, if you were going to play your D or your 5th, instead of this, you would just play these 3. Okay? So again, open G. You're going to go to C. Back to G. Now we're going to go to the 5th and D, which is C. Back to G. Hopefully this one helps. Mess around. Open G, like, it's a really fun tuning, and it's really swampy, and it's got that old school blues flavor to it. So yeah, work that. Get back to me. Let me know how you did. But fun thing to do, and it can get frustrating. Like I said, there's a lot of different techniques you have to use to dampen and to make this slide work. But once you do, it's well worth it. All right, thanks, guys.